Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever.
When I say boycott, you say darkness. Boycott!
Stop us!
When I say boycott, you say Marquis. Boycott!
Marquis!
Boycott!
Marquis!
Boycott!
Marquis!
Boycott!
Marquis!
Boycott!
Marquis!
Boycott!
Marquis!
When I say boycott, you say AXA. Boycott! Boycott! AXA! Boycott! 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 Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
Decolonize!
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 Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
The peoples united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be
Free, free! Free!
Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Decolonize! Decolonize! Stop the genocide! End apartheid! End apartheid! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! End apartheid! End apartheid! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! End apartheid! End apartheid! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! End apartheid! End apartheid! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Viva! Viva! Palestina! Free
Viva, viva! 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 Viva, viva!
Palestina!
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 Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Cardiff, make some noise! Can everyone hear me? If you can't hear me, can you try to make some noise? Well, that doesn't make sense. Can you hear me in the back? No, see? Yeah. Robo, can you hear me? Oh, yeah, okay, good. Okay. So, yet again, for the 76th year. Yet again, for the 76th year, we are coming out to commemorate the deaths of innocent civilians being slaughtered by Israel with the help and the funding of the West. This is a 76-year cycle that has repeated itself over and over. A war crime that never ended. The Nakba is still ongoing. With the help of our government. And our government was never held accountable for the war crimes that it has been committed. May this year be the last year we need to hold vigils for the innocent civilians slaughtered by the Israeli government with the help of our government. Yes. With all the movements happening, may this year be the last year of Nakba commemorations in the name of all the slaughtering that's happening. May we commemorate the next Nakba on our own Palestinian land, victorious and independent. May the Nakba be compared with a celebration for independence and the abolishment of Zionism. We have a few speakers lined up for today. Our first speaker is Siham. Siham is from Gaza. Make some noise.
Okay, Cardiff, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Thanks very much for coming and for showing up again today. Well, I am Palestinian and proud to be Palestinians. It's 76 years now for Nakba, and we haven't forgotten, and we will never forget, we will never give up until the liberation of every single country and city of our Palestine. So, inshallah, we will never forget. Thank you. Excuse me guys, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm trying to my best. Well, it's true, I was born and raised outside Palestine, but my family, my parents, raised Palestine inside me. They have raised the love of Palestine inside me, and that's what I'm doing to my kids. I'm raising the love of Palestine day by day, minute by minute within my kids. So, my family, my parents' family, both survived the Nakba. My father, who originally from Beersheba city in the north of Palestine, which is called Beersheba, he was 6 years old at the Nakba day. My mom, she's from Java, in a village called Sarafan. She was only 5 years when the Nakba happened. And my grandparents were telling my mom and dad about what happened in the Nakba because they have survived the Nakba. So the horror that has been told to my parents was unbelievable. So one of the most unbelievable story that my grandmom was telling my mom. Now, my mom's telling me every single day about the Nakba because she wants to raise it within me. She wants to plant the Nakba within me, to feel it every day, day by day. So she told me that her mom was telling her one of the horror stories that they have seen on Nakba Day. One of her next door neighbor, she forgot her baby behind her when the Nakba happened. Well, at the very beginning, the people did not want to leave. They refused as a kind of resistance. They said, no, we're not going to leave our land. We're not going to leave our homes. And when the Zionists started to know this, they started to massacre people on the Nakba Day in a different horror ways. One of these massacres, Deir Yassin, everyone knows about Deir Yassin. And my mom was telling us, my grandmother was telling her, when people have started to hear what's happening in Deir Yassin, killing the pregnant woman, killing the children, killing everyone, people got the horror and the fear, and they just wanted to leave, just wanted to go because they want to stay survive. So other story was my mom was telling me that a mother with 6 children, she had to leave her 6 months old baby behind her because she was thinking, how will I feed my little boy if I have another 6 siblings? So she decided to leave him beside her. Luckily, her sister couldn't do this. She went back and she had got her brother, and now the man that I'm talking about is a doctor, and every time when I talk to him, he said, I survived the Nakba. Can you imagine this? And this is one of too many stories that has been happened on the Nakba Day. But the people at the start, as I said, didn't want to leave because they said, oh, we're going to wait for the other armies of the Arab countries so they can come and join us and defeat Israel, and so we can't go. But they told them it's going to be only 2 to 3 weeks. And the really heartbreaking thing that these 2 and 3 weeks has turned into 76 years. But even if it was 76 years, hopefully, inshallah, this year will be the last year of Nakba. We will never forget. We will go back, inshallah, we will return because we have our right to exist. What I wanted to share with you guys, I thought it's very important to share as well. May not all of you know that the last summer was the first time for me visiting my homeland, my Palestine. Okay, and because it was short time, so I thought, oh, we can't do everything, we can't do all the plans that we were planning to do. So I was planning to do the rest of all plans, visiting other cities, going to the beach, doing camping with my family. But what's really hard, and no one can imagine this situation I'm going through at the moment, because only 2 months later after I came from Gaza, this genocide started and it's still going on. So can you imagine now all the cities, all the places that I was planning with my relatives and cousins there, all of them destroyed. All families that I wanted to visit next year when I go killed. So it's really a hard moment for us and for my family that 2 months only after coming back from Israel, from Palestine, what Israel has been done and is still doing. Also, I want to share with you that for a while I thought I was giving my strength and my hope to my family and relatives in Gaza, but it turned no. I am the one who is getting the strength and the hope from them, from their steadfastness, from their love to their homes, from the way they always say, we'll never leave. We prefer to die. It's either we win or die. We will never leave. I was getting my strength, I'm still getting my strength from my sister-in-law, Sabrine, who has lost her son, who's 11 years old. And guess what? After that, she's still saying, until this moment, Alhamdulillah, praise be to God. I'm getting my strength from my other sister-in-law, Lubna, who has lost 2 of her sons, Mahmoud and Yusuf. And she was still saying, Alhamdulillah, until she was killed 3 weeks later when they bombed her house for the 2nd time. So I'm getting my strength from them because when I talk to them and then I tell them, do you want to go somewhere? They say, no, we will never leave. We're going to stay in our homes. It's one of 2. It's either we win, inshallah, or we die, but we're not going to leave. Inshallah, we will return. Free Palestine.
Abdullah, بدك تحكي? Okay, we have a journalist from Gaza on live. He can see you guys. So I just want to make some noise. I think he has a few things things to say, so I'm just gonna give not literally the microphone, but I'm gonna try, okay? عبد الله إذا تحكي رح أحط المايك احكي.
السلام عليكم guys. Thank you for standing. Greeting to you from Gaza. Keep it up. Don't stop. Inshallah soon Palestine will be free, inshallah.
Abdullah's also going to be speaking to the students at the encampment tonight. So when we're done, a big number of us are going to head straight to the encampment to support the students. Abdullah's going to be speaking to the students as well. So if you'd like to hear from Abdullah and speak to him, any questions, anything you'd like to hear, please head over to the encampment and Abdullah will be there to listen and speak to you guys. So one more time for Abdullah, make some noise!
Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free!
Okay, our next speaker, Nasser from the West Bank. Make some noise!
Hello Wales, hello Cardiff, hello to each one of you. My name is Nasser Al-Barghouthi. I'm a Palestinian from Palestinian parents from generations and generations of Palestinian descent. For a starter, I want to thank everyone in Cardiff who took over the streets every week till this moment. Please give yourself an applause for every effort you've been doing all the past few weeks. I don't think any city in the world has done what you beautiful Cardiff people have done since October. And everyone around the world, and I want to thank Cardiff University students who started their encampment, and I'm proud of them all. So please help and support the students who are teaching this university. I come from a family just like any other Palestinians family who suffered because of the Nakba, who were forced to leave their homes, their land, because of the creation of the terrorist state of Israel. I want to share a story with you that I still remember till this day. In 1996, I was around 5 years old when my parents were trying to visit Palestine for the first time in their lives after the Nakba. My father was eager on going when my grandparents left Palestine when he was only 3 or 4 years old. But my mother didn't want to go, as she didn't want to leave me and my siblings behind. And at the same time, she didn't want to risk in taking us with them, as she feared for our lives. I remember my father convincing my mother to go with him, as the odds of them having that opportunity again won't happen. I cried a lot seeing my mom leaving, hence I still remember that moment. I remember the anger and sadness on my father's face, the way he felt because he had to get the Israelis' permission to get access on the borders, to go to see his home, the place where he was born, where his ancestors lived for generations, that he needed permission to go to, and he needed a visa, which was only a visit, and he had no right to return or live there despite having a land and having a home. He always talked about his visit to Palestine. He always felt proud that on his birth certificate it says Aboud, which is his birthplace, which is a village in the outskirts of Ramallah in the West Bank. I remember many times he would ask me to bring his birth certificate to show his friends that he was born in Palestine, and he brags about it, that he was born there and that he took pride in it. I could see in his eyes that he was always proud and honored that he's Palestinian. I beg you all not to stop talking about Palestine. Don't stop being active about Palestine. Don't stop fighting for Palestine until it's liberated, until every Palestinian is free, until my family and every displaced Palestinian can go their homes. We are so proud of you and grateful for all you have done for us. You Your solidarity gives us hope in times of darkness and despair. I can't wait for the day when Palestine is free and we can invite all of you to visit us in our land and eat with us our tasty food and our olives and drink our oranges and meet our families and friends and to watch the sunset over the Red Sea together. Inshallah, in the means in God's will, in Arabic, we will be there one day soon. And we'll let Palestine and every city, every village, every street, every corner, every house know the effort you have made to make this happen. All the efforts that you make to make this happen, to make Palestine free from the river to the sea. I have a faith that my ancestors and my late father have been watching us for the past months. And at this moment, looking at us with pride and honor, that you people of Wales and every part of the world are standing for Palestine, is standing for what is right, and will be remembered in the history books that you are the ones who stood by Palestine and the Palestinian people. I'll read a quick poem written by one of my relatives who wrote it after his exile from Palestine on the hands of the Israelis. The name of the poem is You and I. I don't enjoy translating Arabic poetry to English because I feel it loses its meaning. But I hope you find it beautiful as I find it beautiful in Arabic. It goes by, you are beautiful like a liberated homeland, and I am weary like an occupied land. You are sorrowful like a defeated rebel, and I am stirred like an imminent war. You are desired like the cessation of an air raid, and I am heart-wrenched like one searching among the ruins. You are daring like a pilot in training, and I am proud like his grandmother. You are anxious like a sick parent, and I am calm like a nurse. You are tender like the drizzle, and I need you to grow. Both of us are wide like revenge. Both of us are gentle like forgiveness. You are strong like the pillars of the courthouse, and I am astonished like the deceived. And whenever we meet, we talk intensely like two lawyers about the world. And I'm sorry for taking long, and thank you for listening. I'll just end my word for saying, by saying that I have been always proud of my Palestinian heritage, my Palestinian ancestors, and my Palestinian family, and will always continue to be, and always will pass that to my children and grandchildren, who will pass it to theirs. And as long as one Palestinian still breathing, the world and the cause will never die. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you, everyone.
I mean, if you all just look around, look how many people from different backgrounds, different ethnic minority groups, different parts of Wales, different parts of the UK. This is just a reminder that the liberation of Palestine is the liberation of everyone. Our liberation as Palestinian lies in our unity, solidifying against the leaders of the so-called democratic and free world. So when we all come out, we are coming out for a liberated world, not just a liberated Palestine. So thank you everyone for coming out every week. The next speaker that we've got is Dr. Muhammad, Chairman of the Syrian Welsh Society, human rights and civil society activist. Make some noise for Dr. Muhammad.
Good afternoon, everyone. With the greeting of the Palestinian people, with the greeting of peace, with the greeting of mercy, I would like to start and say to all of you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Months and months, and Cardiff, Wales in general, never ever failed to fill the streets and to shout loudly for ceasefire, for justice of the Palestinian people. We gather today to mark a very sad moment. This is the moment when the beautiful Palestinian watermelon was prepared to be sliced under the silence of the whole world. Started to slice that watermelon and thought one day it's gonna end. One day it's gonna finish. But what we see today, and across the globe as well, this is never finished, never ended story. This is the countless seeds across the globe of Palestinian people and all free people, those who are coming to support the human rights of the Palestinian people. When it comes to this story, when we talk about Palestine, it's nothing to do only with Palestinian people. It's nothing to do with Arabs or Muslims only. It's to do with the whole humanity. It's a human right issue. In 1,000, in 1,000,000, we are all Palestinians. In 1,000, in 1,000,000, we are all Palestinians. In 1,000, in 1,000,000, we are all Palestinians. We've been shouting loudly in the streets for months and months for ceasefire. But in fact, I would like to recall a previous speech I made here in this square months ago. If we're going to talk about ceasefire, we have to talk first about justice for the Palestinian people. And to go for justice, it will start with only one single step, which is recognition of Palestine as a state. Palestine as a state. Palestine as a state. 76 years, and everyone thought that the Palestinian story gonna be something from the past. The kufiya now is everywhere. The kufiya of Palestinians now on the shoulders of every free man in this world. The kufiya is a sign of bravery, of liberty, of those who respect human rights. 76 years, and they thought nobody gonna talk about the Palestinian story. But today we see more keys raised up, more keys. We will never drop these keys. These keys gonna stay forever as a sign of the right of return, and that right of return gonna happen sooner or later. This symbol of key, despite all attempts, decades and decades, to silence Palestinian people and free people around the world, the key is still there, and the kufiya is still there, and the stories of the beautiful Palestinian people still there, and will never disappear. What I want to call today, and urge all of you, we're not gonna only march in the streets, shouting loudly for ceasefire. We need a practical step. And this is now urging all the members of the Welsh Parliament to go for the vote of Palestine as a state. 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 Every member of the Welsh Parliament should be contacted through you, and we have to call and urge strongly and shout loudly. We need to go for the practical step. We need to go for the recognition. We're not going to only ask for ceasefire. I would like to remember all those who've been killed in Gaza with cold blood, but also those who've been killed over decades and decades, over 76 years. Not only the last incident of what happened in Gaza. I would like to remember my colleagues, the healthcare workers, those who've been killed in duty while they've been doing their duties in hospitals, and we could see hospital by hospital being wiped out. We need now to talk about Palestine as a state. Push for that one. And there's nothing called peace without justice. No peace without justice. No peace without justice.
No peace without justice. No peace without justice.
Let's all push for the next step, which is the recognition of Palestine as a state. Let's have the Senate. Let's have the Senate. Let's have the Welsh Parliament as the first parliament in the UK to go for that step and justify the historical mistake which happened years ago by that promise which gave Palestine to other people. we need to correct that mistake, and that will start with this recognition. I won't take it too long, but I will say to all of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is your story, this is your issue, and this is the story of every free man and woman in this world. Thank you all for coming today. We'll continue. We will continue marching and shouting until we see Palestine a free state and Palestinian people back home with their keys in their hands. Thank you all.
Free! 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 Our next speaker, make some noise for Bethan. She's a former Senate member, 15 years, and an activist out here representing Cardiff Stop the War and PSC Cardiff. Shmai, 2 microphones. Bloody hell. Diolch yn fawr iawn I bawb am ddod. Thank you all for coming. The Nakba, 1948. Dispossession, mandated to leave, land occupied, families terrorised, teuluoedd ar wasgar, dim gobeth. Fleeing to somewhere, nowhere, where, ble. Bombs blasting like a film, but not in a film. Occupiers planting flags on stolen land, calling it home. But it's not their home. It will never be their home. Nid cartref, no cartref, ar dir wedi ei dwyn. Gaza, 2024. Condemnation, bombs blasting, dispossession. Hospitals ruined, journalists vilified, aid workers targeted. Hiraeth for a land they refuse to leave. Hind, 6 years old, a child, plentyn. Come and get me, I'm so scared, please come. Killed by Israeli fire. Lladd yn an ambulance, a oedd I fod yn lle ddiogel. My son, fy mab, alive. Her mother, where? The world watches live on their phones and gwylio. Picture of a 5-month-old baby found in the rubble, decomposed. Delwedd na fedrai byth anghofio. My son, smiling up at me while I cry inside for Palestine. Forced famine, forced hunger. Israel has the right to withhold power and water from Gaza. Kia Starmer, shame on you! We will remember, we will remember. Vegovion. Eating grass and drinking lemon. You're making that up, mate. They shout at us behind their Ukrainian flag profiles. Solidarity for one, not for the other. We all know why. Dyn ni'n gwybod pam. We all know why. Free, free Palestine. We chant, we march, make banners, placards, pin badges. Don't be bystanders. Week in, week out. Friends, cyfeillion, comrades, brothers, sisters. When will this stop? When will peace arrive? A oes heddwch. Boycott Israeli goods. We enter the shops. Don't buy food grown on stolen land. We tell busy shoppers who nod and take our leaflets to read later on, we hope, gwyddion. Don't watch the news, be the news. We picket the arms factories, making bombs in small towns in Wales and in Trefi Tawel, to kill people too far away for us to even care. But we do care. Our lives are bound through the roots of our ancient oak trees and the olive trees of Palestine. Gwreiddiau yn coed and plethu yn un. Our history of solidarity Ers neges heddwch. From fighting fascism in Spain to freedom for South Africa's Mandela, when we sang Cosi Sigalele Africa on the back streets of Merthyr and told our friends of that time when Desmond Tutu came to town. That apartheid regime came crumbling down, just as this apartheid regime will come crumbling down. And diskin I lawr. People, communities everywhere, mobilising, energising, dros heddwch yn ein byd. Whisper the words the politicians are too scared to say. Sybridwch y geiriau, genocide. Then say the word a little louder, an uwch, genocide. Then shout the word, gwaeddwch, genocide, genocide. Hil-lafiad. Did you hear us, Joe Stevens? Did you hear us, Stephen Doughty? Did you hear us, Keir Starmer? Did you hear us, Rishi Sunak? Ti'n clywed ni, Netanyahu? Achos dwi ddim calchi gen I. Dim respect, sorry. Stop the genocide. United Nations, ICJ, UK government, Welsh government, act now. Don't wait for history to judge you. Creuwch hanes I ni mwyn ein pobl parchu ni. Don't wait for our children's children to read their history books and feel shame and judgment that you did absolutely nothing. We can act together now. Gweithredwn gyda'n gilydd nawr. The Kafirs will drape over our shoulders like Welsh shores on Dydd Gwyl Dewi until a Palestinian state is created. The Palestinian flag, the red poppy of resistance, will fly high above our heads alongside our draig goch on the streets of Cardiff, Aberystwyth, Bangor, Wrexham, until Palestine is free. Rhyddid I Palestina! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Make some noise for nothing! Our next speaker needs no introduction. Everybody make some noise for Kwabena!
Like everyone has said here today, the Nakba has continued. The Nakba is a representation of displacement and extreme violence, but the Nakba is not only contained to Palestine. We see a catastrophe happening in Sudan, in the Congo, in Haiti. We see this violence continually happening across the world. And we must understand that the Nakba continues because imperialism continues, because capitalism continues. But the most important thing that does continue is resistance. Resistance is the key to liberation. Resistance is the key to a different world. Resistance is the key to revolution. These last couple of months have terrified the government, not only because we've been forcing them to cut ties with, the Israeli state, but it's brought up so many questions around imperialism, around racism, around, the ties that our UK has had in the creation of Israel. These questions that are continually thrown up are so important because it allows us to imagine a free world. It allows us to imagine a world without violence. It allows us to imagine a free Palestine. So we must always continue our resistance, no matter how big or how small. And we see today that the movement is being revitalised by the student movement that's happened across the UK. And we must continue to ride that wave and continue our resistance. Because this year the Nakba is different. Because the Nakba is different this year. Because people's eyes have been opened to the violence of the state. People's eyes have been opened to the complicity. But more so, people have become to realise that they actually have power. They have power to change the situation. They have a say in what matters. We are the ones who speak the truth, the people, not the people at the top of society. world. We need to continually to force our government to cease to our demands, just like we are forcing the universities to cease to our demands. This Nakba is different because we have each other. This Nakba is different because we have joined forces with the climate movement, because we have joined forces with pro-refugee. We have joined forces with so many other movements. This Nakba is different because we have each other, and that is all we need in the struggle to unite and fight for a free Palestine. I pray that we never have to come together in a situation where we are talking about a genocide, but I pray that we come together to look back on the genocide that we stopped, to look back on the things that we did to stop the genocide, to look back at the power that we have and what we did to change the world. So let's continue to push forward and use our resistance as the true key. We talk about the keys that Palestinians passed down from generations of their old home. That key symbolizes the resistance that Palestinians have had for 76 years plus. So when people say they can't boycott or you know, they're getting tired, what about the Palestinians who have continued to exist for 76 years, despite the occupation, despite the violence? We must never get tired because the Palestinians have always remained and always fought. They give us the energy to fight, so we must fight even harder for them. That we never have another day where we talk about a genocide, but we have a day where we talk about a free Palestine. Thank you.
Our next speakers come all the way from, is it North Wales? Oh, okay. West Wales. Please make some noise for Dinah. She's speaking on behalf of PSC Cymru.
Thank you, everybody. I'm honoured, I have to say, I'm honoured and I'm humbled to be speaking on this platform today and to follow speakers like we've heard from this afternoon. So I'm chair of Palestine Solidarity Campaign in Ceredigion, and I live in Lampeter in Ceredigion in the Midwest region of Wales, and I'm speaking today on behalf of that region and also on behalf of PSC Cymru branches in Wales. So in the last few months we've witnessed the worst possible suffering being wrought upon the people of Gaza, and we've witnessed the nadir of humanity in the most barefaced, shameless, genocidal actions wrought upon those people by the Israeli state on a level that is unprecedented even for them. But we're also seeing an extraordinary upsurge of outrage and support for those people. Across Wales, Palestine Solidarity Campaign has seen the setting up of new branches, and just 4 weeks ago we constituted ourselves as PSC Cymru so that we could strengthen our actions and campaign and focus our campaigning nationally across Wales. Because what we're seeing here in Cardiff, but also in the regions of Wales, is a huge outpouring of support for Palestinian rights that is unprecedented. In Ceredigion, where I'm from, in Montgomeryshire, in Carmarthenshire and in Pembrokeshire, we've seen vigils, divestment protests, supermarket boycotts, gigs, film showings, fundraisers. We've seen marches on the streets of Haverfordwest and Aberystwyth, and divestment demonstrations at Aberystwyth University. And this is only a small snapshot of the campaigning that is happening in the rural areas of Wales. This mobilisation is feeding our hopes for change for the first time in a long time. And personally, I feel hope that I haven't felt for several years, that the situation in Palestine can change, but also that the world situation can change. What's providing me with particular hope are the student encampments. And I have to shout out to the students that are here. Those international encampments, the ones in the UK, but particularly those here in Wales, at Bangor and Swansea and at Cardiff so far, and hopefully soon there will be more. And you're calling your institutions to account for their complicity in this shameful genocide. And we need to do that too. We need to call all our institutions and our governments to account. And our UK government has a key historical and ongoing role in the oppression and ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
But Welsh Government here in Cardiff also plays a role in enabling the genocidal state of Israel. And we need to talk about the weapons industry here in Wales. Now, I won't call it, shut it down. I won't call it the defence industry because it has nothing to do with defending Wales. We don't even have defence powers in Wales. They are not devolved. But weapons here are a massive industry, and it's an industry that exploits Wales's lack of economic opportunity and autonomy, and that industry creates weapons that surveil and kill and maim Palestinian civilians. So Welsh Government hide their enablement of the weapons industry. And how they do that is they hide it behind a quango body, the Wales Aerospace Forum, because the optics of being connected to what's been referred to as the bloodier end of the business, those optics aren't great. But the Wales Aerospace Forum's membership looks like a list of most wanted for military exports to Israel. They include BAE Systems, who manufacture parts of the fuselage of the US F-35 combat aircraft currently being used by Israel to bombard Gaza. And they also include Raytheon, Thales, Lockheed Martin, Teledyne, Northrop Grumman. Aerospace Wales also supports Elbit Systems at RAF Valley and Anglesey. And they also support Kinetic at MOD Aberporth in Ceredigion, near to where I live. So Kinetic is a multinational arms technology company specialising in military drones, robotics and weapons components. Over the last 20 years, Welsh Government, hand in hand with Kinetic, have been investing significant sums of taxpayers' money in Aberporth to create the conditions for it to become the centre of the European military drone industry. During that time, Kinetic have been granted a series of military export licenses to Israel, and their most recent export license was category ML4, which covers bombs, torpedoes, rockets, missiles, other explosive devices and components thereof. Kinetic's deadly output has been used by the Israeli military in Gaza and the West Bank, and Kinetic have relied on the key financial and practical support of the Welsh Government in doing this. So what we know about Aberporth is merely a small snapshot of Welsh Government's relationship with the military-industrial complex. Scale that up, and there is a hideous irony in the notion of Wales being a nation of sanctuary to refugees who are escaping the very violence that weapons and weapons components made in Israel have created. As the students on the Gaza encampments call for their institutions to disclose and divest of their complicit investments, so we in Ceredigion PSC are calling for Welsh Government to disclose their complicity in supporting the supply of weapons and components made in Wales to Gaza and the West Bank. And we're also calling on them, in the absence of powers, to ban or block arms exports to Israel in order to prevent further genocide. We're calling on Welsh Government to sanction those members of the Wales Aerospace Forum who are profiting from genocide. Our Senedd members must do the same, or their fine words and statements, very well meant for a ceasefire for peace and for recognition of the state of Palestine, are unfortunately meaningless and hollow gestures without the action that is required. Otherwise, they can never bring about what the Palestinian people, all of us here today in Cardiff, and everyone marching in London today as well, and all of those others holding actions and events up and down the nation of Wales, are demanding. An end to the genocide, an end to the occupation, peace, justice, life, the right of return for Palestinians to their stolen homes and their stolen lands, an end to the ongoing Nakba, and a future Palestinian state determined by the people of Palestine, for the people of Palestine. Thank you very much.
out here representing the Jewish community standing up for the Palestinian rights. Please make some noise for Paul.
Salam alaikum. And thank you all for staying to hear me after so many fantastic speeches from Palestinians and allies. I'm Jewish, but sorry, Lou Jakes, actually I've written it down. I make no claim to represent any community. Like any large group of people, Jews have a very diverse range of beliefs and opinions. But I do bring you greetings and solidarity from the Jewish Socialist Group, of which I am a member. They're one of the organisers of a large Jewish bloc of the London demos. And their key motto, I suppose, is always with the oppressed and never with the oppressor. So that's our approach. So, I want to tell you about a few moments when the Nakba touched my life journey. Not with the terrible, life-changing and even life-ending impact that it's had on hundreds and thousands and even millions of Palestinians, but moments that supported my own journey away from Zionism. These moments were made possible, of course, by my membership of a privileged group who could visit and join the Jewish settler project in Palestine simply by proving that my mother was Jewish and her mother and so on. I was radicalized as a teenager in the so-called socialist Zionist youth movement. After high school, I went to Israel to be trained as a Zionist youth leader in Jerusalem. The boys were accommodated in a beautiful old stone house in Katamon. We sometimes wondered about the Arab owners who must have fled in 1948. But we knew that all the Jews had been expelled from East Jerusalem and the West Bank at the same time. And we were taught that the Palestinians had only left because of radio broadcasts from Arab countries telling them to leave to clear the way for the Arab armies to kill the Jews, liberate Palestine and enable their return. So our teenage consciences were clear. But in fact, the Haganah, the main Zionist paramilitary group, started the ethnic cleansing of Katamon by bombing the Semiramis Hotel, just a few hundred meters from where we were being taught. They killed at least 24 civilians. Further attacks followed. Guns and grenades, not radio broadcasts. Our course was taken for a highly emotional visit to Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial Institute. We emerged from the dark and gloomy interior with its pictures and films of the horrors of World War II through a gallery depicting Israeli independence and up a slope to a sunlit plaza. A metaphorical journey from the Holocaust to the bright new Jewish state. We looked across the valley to what I now know is Kfar Shaul, a mental hospital. But this was formerly the site of Deir Yassin, where over 100 villagers were massacred by Zionist paramilitaries, as we heard earlier. The surviving buildings were incorporated into the hospital. Years ago, I asked the secretary, that's like the lead of a mukhtar of a kibbutz on the Lebanese border, what had happened to the villagers who must have been in the area before 1948. He looked at me for a moment, and he said, "We put them on trucks at the point of a gun, and we drove them across the border." At the time, a frank admission of a taboo subject. Everybody knew, but nobody talked. Today, the Israeli government does not try to hide the history of the Nakba. Indeed, Israeli government ministers openly threaten a new Nakba for the Palestinian citizens of Israel while they are enacting ethnic cleansing in Gaza and the West Bank. Years ago, I took my partner to the kibbutz located south of Haifa, where I was conceived. My parents had passed on fond memories and treasured photos of their favourite beach in the area. They called it Tantura, but now it was called Nachsholim, or Dor. We drove there and parked. At the entrance to the idyllic beach, there's still a few old stone buildings. When I looked into it, these were, I found later, all that remained of a Palestinian village of Tantura, where a massacre took place whose death toll almost certainly exceeded that of Deir Yassin. The mass grave is believed to be under the parking lot, where we had left our car while enjoying the beach. The Israelis have never allowed any excavation there. I guess exhumation of murdered Palestinians might detract from the attractions of the adjacent holiday villages. So these experiences helped free my mind from the settler colonial narratives, half-truths and lies that I'd grown up with. In that sense, Zionism is no different from other ideologies and isms, political parties and states. we soak up a group's worldview and sometimes absorb the fear and hatred of other groups as well. If we accept these divisive narratives without question, we give our consent and support to exploitation and hatred, war and environmental destruction. Yet, in resisting what we judge to be evil and oppressive, we must not forget the fundamental principles of human rights and equality. Truth, humanity and unity are powerful weapons. And we must also liberate our minds, which I assume the people here are largely doing, but we must help others to decolonize their own minds as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Our last final speaker, a man that needs also no introduction, a sin.
All right, let's make this quick, because what we want to do next, we want us all to go to the encampment, because we want to show the support for the students. So I'll be very, very quick. We talk about the Nakba as if it's a memory, isolated within its own time. But this is the continuation of the Nakba. If we do not stop it now, we will be here again and again and again on the 77th, on the 78th, and there'll be another Nakba in 50 years that they'll be talking about this time. And we would have not done enough to stop it. Together we can. We are breaking down Israel's propaganda. The world is waking up. The world has woken up. The students have risen, and we must continue to support them. There's no justification for Zionism. It's settler colonialism. And it does not start in 1948. It didn't even start in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration. It started when atheists by the name of Theodor Herzl and their friends in their colonizing ideas that they had, trying to take land. They were first offered Uganda. They were offered Argentina. Those people that did not even consider themselves Jewish. At the time in 1896, when Theodor Herzl announced the first Zionist organization and conference, over 200 rabbis around the world sent a letter to say this is heretical. We do not stand for this. Zionism is a creation, to be quite frank, of the Christian fundamentalist movement. From the 1500s, during the schism, they created it. The idea that this is a fundamentally Jewish notion is sick, because no religion advocates for genocide. As Paul said, a religion is a group of individuals of different beliefs and different ideas. They are not represented by a state, as much as Saudi Arabia does not represent Muslims. So we stand here with our Jewish brothers and sisters, our Muslim brothers and sisters, atheist brothers and sisters, whatever religion you are, Christian or anything, any other religion, we stand here in solidarity, because if you're against genocide, you are for Palestine, and you are a friend, you are a supporter, and we will liberate Palestine with you and with everyone else. And that's why we must go to the student encampment and show they have support from Cardiff. We are one with them, and we will rise with them, and we will support them and protect them.
Hello everyone, I just want to end with saying, if Algeria got its independence after 132 years of occupation, then Palestine will be free very, very, very soon. Thank you. Okay, we're all heading to the encampment now. The encampment is really not far. It's just from literally like a 3-minute walk from the statue. Please, if you can't actually walk with us, please come with us. The students need your support. They've put so much energy and so much effort into making this encampment happen, and their demands need to be met by the university. The more of us show up, the stronger they will be in the face of the university, who is consistently and constantly funds Israel through certain other companies. All right. Okay, it's on Museum Avenue. In case anyone doesn't follow us, Museum Avenue, it's the main building of the university. So I'll wait around for a bit, 2-3 minutes, and then we can all head down there together. One last time. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Oh, by the way, there's going to be some paint and stuff for children at the encampment as well. There's also a football if they want to play. SHARKTIME, and it literally, I'm from Palestine, it literally feels